Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Marvel Legends Heroes Return Iron Man, part of the totally awesome Hulk Build-A-Figure. And boy, it bothers me every time I say that. Totally awesome. Ugh. Okay, anyway, this is the new Iron Man that I am actually quite fond of. I like this design for him. It's not my favorite, but I do like a lot of the elements of it. I like the almost throwback faceplate and the chunkier armor. I like it. As a character design, I don't know how the figure is going to pan out in this review. There is some good stuff for sure. A couple things that are a little irksome, but I think overall it's going to be a good one. We'll see. So let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands, we'll call it just over 17 centimeters. That's going to make him roughly, it's pretty darn close to 6 3/4 inches. Here he is up against Darwin, just a little bit taller than Uncle Darwin. All right, let's do a question of the day. Which non-movie version of Iron Man is your favorite? You can pick any single one you want as long as it's Tony Stark. I think I have to go modular armor. If I had to pick, I'd go with that. But I do like the reborn look. I like this look, which is fairly similar to that one, but also kind of... Anyway, I like a bunch of them. I like Iron Man a lot. Okay, so let's talk about the aesthetic on this guy. We have the marbly plastic for all the gold parts except for the faceplate, which is a perfect example of why they should be painting all of the parts the way they did the faceplate. Look how much nicer that looks. Look at that. There's no swirling going on. It looks like it could actually be metal. By the way, they did a really clean job on the faceplate. Love the inner mouth thing that looks like Dr. Doom. I like that they did this. The gold wash up there. I know it's not technically a wash probably, but that looks really good. And the whole thing. I like the sculpt. I like all of that head. That head is really, really nicely done. So that's great. But that looks so much better than this marbly plastic that looks like a shampoo bottle. Stop it, Hasbro. Put the paint on the figures. It's your only job to make action figures. You should do it right. There's very little paint on this guy. Granted, it's in places where I would have expected them to skimp, but then they did. They did do some skimping. They're like, we'll do some, but not too much. Also, there's a lot of reused parts on this guy, which is unfortunate because there's lots of new parts, but then we also have the parts that are definitely older, and that is really unfortunate. So I don't know about all that. I really like the torso sculpt. I like the kind of like hard edge musculature. That's good. And they did a pretty good job with this element of the design too. So it's not bad. The red parts don't look anywhere near as metallic as I think they should. They look more glossy. And even then, they do have a little bit of like a marbling going on. But the gold parts are super marbly, and I'm just done with the shampoo bottle look for the figures. This looks so much better. Hasbro is so good at painting metallics. It's a shame they refuse to do it. Okay, so proportionally it is pretty good. Also, the shoulder pads help a bunch, but it does have a nice look to it. Other than the legs being a disaster, which we'll talk about in the articulation, it looks pretty good. I'm going to give this guy an aesthetic rating of 8 out of 10 for Marvel Legends. Better than most. Still 20% improvement could happen. Okay, let's talk about the accessories. We don't have a ton to go with here. We have 2 fist hands and 2 repulsor blast hands. I am happy to report this design doesn't require painted repulsor blasts. From what I've seen in the comics, they don't actually light up at all when he's not using them, or at least I've seen images where they're not lit up, so I guess that's fair enough. But we do also get 2 repulsor blasts, which don't have any paint on them either. So, you know, 5 out of 10, I guess. The repulsor hands don't even have a hinge. It's just like Hasbro's getting lazier and cheaper with everything they make while the prices keep creeping, and other companies are doing way better for the money. So I don't think they can keep using the excuse of inflation and whatnot. All right, let's talk about the articulation. This guy, luckily, features a double ball peg for the neck. Actually, he doesn't. Hasbro refuses to do the right thing. And he's just got the disc hinge, which is very limited due to the character design. So he can't really look up for a good flight pose. He can look down nicely, so that's okay. And of course he can rotate side to side. There's really no attitude. The neck does seem to rotate, but mine is like almost impossible to move. So either it's supposed to and mine's stuck, or it's not supposed to and I'm really strong. Hard to say. For the shoulder pads, I don't know how they could have done this much better other than to leave them actually connected to this centerpiece, but this is a reasonable approach to cut them and just have them rotate with the arm. They have their own little connection inside, so that's good. I mean, it works out well enough for posing. It's not the best thing in this particular design. I don't know that there is a best case scenario for this particular design, but generally for shoulder pads, this is the way to do it, so that's good. And then bringing the arms out to the side works pretty well. I'll take that. You do get your bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, good enough range. No swivel at this part. Mine has glue all over it. I just love getting figures from Hasbro these days. I can almost always expect to find some kind of glue. Alright, wrists have a swivel and a hinge. Ab crunch on this guy. Goes back pretty far, so that's good. So I guess he can still fly, sort of, but he has to really break his back to do it. And then look at no pizza oven. It's not necessary. I like how people try to argue with me that some things on these bad figures are necessary when they don't happen on other figures, like 90% of the time. Doesn't lean forward for crap though. Almost no range forward. Waist twist is fine. Boy, should that have been a ball socket. Like, he's already got the diaper thing right here, and they had to cut the bottom ab muscles to do the swivel. Just make it a ball peg. Ugh. Whatever. Alright, the hips, they don't go forward all that well. Make sure there's no drop down. They don't go back at all. They go forward almost horizontal, I guess. That's okay. Thigh swivel, or I mean, out to the side, that's pretty good. I will definitely take that. Thigh swivel is, of course, a thigh swivel. Double jointed knees have good range, but they demonstrate how freakishly long his lower legs are. This whole chunk right here, not this knee pad, but from the gold right here to the foot, should be the same length as this, which means this needs to be a lot longer and this needs to be a little bit shorter to make them even. This is not how humans are built, at all. And that's not even to mention the fact I'm pretty sure the knee pad should be actually connected to his knee and not to his shin, because I'm pretty sure when he bends his knees, the red part stays with the knee in the source material. You do get a thigh, I cannot speak. You get a boot swivel, so that's pretty good. Ankles go really far back if you really, really want them to, and they don't have very much forward range at all. Ankle rocker is decent. There are pegs down here for the blasts if you want them. Okay, so his articulation, it's not impressive. It's acceptable. Some parts are good, some parts are not so good. I will go 7. It's pretty basic, I would say. There's nothing that stands out to me as being really good, and some things don't work. So, okay, time for the final verdict for this release. I really like the character design, and they didn't totally crap the bed, so that's good. It does have good initial shelf appeal, though very plasticky looking. It looks solid, mostly because of that faceplate, and the sculpt is hard enough on the chest, and he's got the nice shoulder pads to kind of just make him look like a superhero rather than like a Marvel Legends figure. So I do like that. I still feel like Hasbro's shorting its customers big time. We're not getting enough for our money. The figures are not well enough produced. They're not well enough designed, and they're not well enough executed. They're just so average. They're so mediocre for no reason at all. I'm going to give this, for Marvel Legends standards, an 8 out of 10. I like this one, but it could be so much better for the price point. Put some damn paint on the figure. Stop making things out of shampoo bottles. Why is everything marbly plastic for Iron Man? It looks like crap compared to paint, and it's right there to prove it. Alright guys, there it is. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos almost every single day and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. In the meantime, keep collecting.